What is up, you guys? This is Jared, and you are watching Backroad Exploration. Behind me back there is the Green River. A couple of trips ago, I was out with the boys, and we were on the Moab side of the Green River. So that side of the Green River, we were taking a bunch of trails that would go out and look over the Green River. Really pretty. A few years ago, my brother Mike and I actually came right down this road down here, and we did a big loop that took us down towards the Hanksville area. During that, we passed a bunch of different spur trails, and I've always been wanting to come back and check those out. So over the next day and a half, we got a late start, but over the next day and a half, we're going to be checking out a bunch of those dirt trails as we make our way down towards Hanksville, Utah. We're basically going to be checking out just a bunch of trails off of what's called the Lower San Rafael Road. It kind of cuts all the way through, all the way to Hanksville from Green River, and there's trails that go out in like basically all directions. Eventually you can hook into the trails that take you out towards like Hans Flat and the Canyonlands National Park and different things like that. But the main purpose of this trip is I've got the new Falcon Wild Peak tires on the Jeep, and I'm really excited to be trying them out. The lift kit is going to be going on next week, and so I wanted to have at least one trip in the dirt with these new tires, with my old suspension setup, just so that I could kind of feel how they felt with that setup that I'm really used to. So I definitely know that I'm very much looking forward to the new suspension. In fact, the reason I chose this route is because it's really tame, and my front left shock is really in a bad shape. It's just all metal on metal. It's kind of starting to wallow out the bracket there, and I don't want that to cause long-term problems with my suspension with the new suspension. So I chose this area because it's going to be really tame, but it's really pretty. There's all these beautiful plateaus in this area all around. Sometimes we call it like castle country, in and around basically between like Price and the Green River area. Just really, really pretty. Excited to get out on the trail, so let's get going. Feeling pretty warm for you. We've got snow back home. Molly's just excited to be out on another adventure. Let's go. Come on. Good girl. Good job, guys. This is a good pile. You bringing some more over, Jackson?
Yep.
All right, let's grab the trash bag and put them away. I don't mind people shooting guns, but this is ridiculous, guys. Please teach your families to clean up. This is a really beautiful area, and just throwing a bunch of shells everywhere, leaving all your dead shells is just a terrible idea. So let's clean them up. Really liking this cool little 2-track. It's a Jeep ATV dirt bike trail, and just one of these many designated routes out here that kind of connect to several other trails that then connect back up to some of the main roads. But really, really pretty area, and you know, more fun than just like the well-graded dirt roads. So they're all over out here. You could probably spend a lifetime, you know, exploring them, and I'm just really happy to be out here checking a few of these out. All right, well, we have found a place to camp at the end of this spur trail. The last, I would say quarter of a mile has really hardly been traveled at all, but there's a nice little cool flat spot that looks out over this nice little wash over here. Beautiful views of some of those plateaus out above Green River over there. So I'm pretty happy with this campsite. It is, we're only on the trail for a couple of hours today because we got such a late start, but hoping to get everything kind of set up and get working on some dinner before the sun goes down. We are only like a week away from daylight savings, and I cannot wait until we have an extra hour of daylight. All right, I don't need all 3 bins when it's just the boys and I, but I wanted to test it, so I actually have all of the gear that we would need for the entire family going on a trip, other than Lauren and Charlotte's personal clothing, but everything else we have, because I wanted to test bringing all the sleeping bags, etc. in these bins. The one here on the right is all tools. I do that on purpose. It's the heaviest, so I put it on opposite side of the rig of me. And it's basically got tools and, you know, oil and a few things like that, my tow strap, just kind of some random things that I don't need often and I don't intend on taking down. And then the other 2, the one right in the middle, or excuse me, the one on the left is just a couple of sleeping bags. And then the middle is kind of like some of our camp cooking and things like that. So gonna try this setup, see how I like it. So one thing I've been considering is buying, Gobi actually sells an insert that goes over this spot that connects to the rack. When I purchased the Jeep, it already had the rack on it, so that wasn't an option for me. And that would allow me to move these bins up to the front instead of in the back. And that would allow that back space for a few other things. Occasionally I want to bring like a crate with wood in it and just kind of a couple random things like that. Put down the traction boards there as well. So I don't know. If it was like $100, I would pull the trigger and do it right away, but it's like $250, and we do pull the freedom panels out so that we can kind of have that top off feeling. I never take the top off with the rack. It is possible, but it's kind of a pain, so I just never do it. And so that kind of gives you, if you pop those freedom panels out, kind of gives you that top off feeling without actually having the top off. So on the fence there, but it would add a little bit extra ability to store things up on top of the roof rack. After getting stuck in the snow, finally picked up some traction pads or traction boards. Probably I'm not going to need them on this trip, but mostly I'm hoping in the morning tomorrow I can figure out how I want to mount them on top. But for now they're just inside there. I'm 3 or 4 trips into having some of these Plano storage boxes. And honestly, it's something I wish I would have bought a long time ago. They're under $30. They fit gear super well, and I absolutely love them. Oh, you just need some attention, huh, Molly? But really excited. Let me show you this. So I've got 3 sleeping bags in this one. This is a small bag that Jackson uses. This is a very small bag, but it's a nice warm mummy bag that Wyatt will use. This is Lauren's bag. I just wanted to test it with that. And then Charlotte and I stuff is in there. So that's how we're fitting everything. I definitely need a new sleeping bag. I've been using the same sleeping bag since I was like a teenager in Boy Scouts. It's massive. I love it. It's super warm, but it's really starting to rip apart in a ton of different places, and where the inside stuffing is coming out. And it is the least compact bag ever. It takes up a massive amount of space in one of these bins. I hate mummy bags, so I won't be getting one of those. I haven't decided what I'm going to get. I think I'm going to get a stuff bag that is not a mummy bag, more like a house style stuff bag that is lightweight. 60 to 70% of my trips are in warm weather. And then maybe I will have like a mummy bag liner that I will use inside of it or something like that. If you have a recommendation on a really comfortable sleeping bag that is not a mummy bag, I'm just too broad-shouldered for mummy bags. They're so claustrophobic to me. I do not sleep well in them. I'm looking for recommendations on sleeping bags. Probably I'm going to use, I have like just a total house style bag that I'm going to use through the summer this year, but coming into the fall and winter, I'm definitely going to be picking up something new. to end today. We didn't do a ton of exploring. We only covered about 30 miles or so, but they were fun trail miles. We have a beautiful view. Got dinner, the boys. This is the perfect way to spend a weekend. I can't wait to get back out on the trail tomorrow on more adventures. So we're gonna probably eat some dinner, enjoy the last little bits of sunlight that we have, and hit it bright and early in the morning. Really cool. You can see this little crevice where the rock is falling away. That's what I was just climbing down through. Look at all the layers on these rocks. It's amazing. Saturday morning, we're definitely going to be out to a late start today. Last night was really weird. We went to bed, everything was great. Watched a movie with the boys, and then around 3:30 in the morning woke up and Jackson was super sick and was throwing up. Luckily I was able to get the throw up bags that I always carry. So cleanup was fairly minimal this morning, but still took a little while, and he was sick from like 3 until like 6. Finally he was able to fall back asleep, and so we all went back to sleep and slept until about 9. It's just before 10 o'clock. I need to make some dinner. We've been doing a little bit of exploring here around camp. I need to make some dinner, make some breakfast. You can see I'm a little out of it. Need to make some breakfast, and then we'll head back out on the trail. I'm a little bit worried because if it was food poisoning, we've all eaten the same food. And if it's a stomach bug, we've all been around each other. So not really sure what that is, but so far Wyatt and I are feeling good. Jackson's spirits are a lot better. So I'm going to try to get in at least a couple of hours of exploring today. Hopefully no one else gets sick. So let's get some breakfast rolling and get moving. How you doing, old girl? Feeling okay today? Got a little dirt on your nose. Good girl. Normally you go on my hike, so you didn't come with me this time. Just taking things kind of easy, coming up on lunch right now, but Jackson's still been feeling a little under the weather, so we're gonna just kind of take it easy for a little bit. Maybe wait until this afternoon before we actually peel out on the road and start doing a little bit more exploring. Right now I'm reading Back Roads of Utah San Rafael Swell, 22 vehicle trails plus the history, prehistory, and geology of the San Rafael Swell. This was written by a friend. You might recognize his Jeep on the front of this. You can buy this on Amazon from Christian Probasco. It's really cool, awesome resource for exploring the swell and a bunch of the history. Really digging this book. One of the things the boys love about this area are all the rocks. They've been collecting cool little rocks. They're all kinds of different colors, and it's amazing what you can find out here. Some of them are super smooth. Pretty cool. Doing okay back there, bud? Yeah? can see is what we're dealing with. We've got, that is not normal behavior for Jackson to be knocked out, kind of laying there resting in the back. I'm a little worried about this hike. We might have to leave him in the Jeep with Molly, something like that. You don't want us to leave you? He heard that. He didn't like that. So, anyways, we're just making our way now on Lower San Rafael Road, and as you can see, it's a much better graded road. It's pretty fast moving, so we'll be able to cover some ground. So right now we are at Chaffin Ranch Geyser. I've been here 3 times. Well, this is the 3rd time, and I've never seen it go off. And right now we're here when it's going off, which is pretty cool. Anyways, it's kind of a cool little spot. We're gonna stop, have some lunch here, but really cool. As we were pulling in, we saw it going off, so we jumped out real quick and ran over so that we could catch it.
Awesome.
We just wrapped up lunch. We've got a decent amount of miles still ahead of us before the hike that we want to do, so we're just jumping back on the trail. Soft in some of these spots right here. It's definitely turning into way more of your red sand and red rock the closer we get to Hanksville, Utah. Really, really pretty though. Super windy, but we've just gotten on Colonnade Arch Trail. Supposedly there's a few arches at the end of it, so this is one of the hikes that I wanted to check out on this trip. Jackson says he's feeling up to it, so here we go. The way this tree is just totally growing in this little sand pit where the water's been eroding for years. That's really cool. Keep going down, bud. You're gonna go down to those footprints down there. Jackson, go to the side right here. That is amazing. That is so beautiful. This is so beautiful in here. Colonnade Arches, these are amazing. I have lived here my whole life. I've never heard of these. I just saw when I was doing some research for this trip, I wanted to do some hiking, and there's actually another hike in the area on the other side of Green River that I want to do sometime, but I saw that this was on the area that we were going to be at, and the trail ends kind of weird. It's not really not marked very well. It's just some different rock piles just kind of giving you an idea of the direction. But when you get here, the view is amazing. I'm just looking out over all of this castle country, this red rock country below me that is so beautiful, and just kind of trying to soak it in and take it in. So we're gonna stay here for a few more minutes and then head back towards the Jeep and continue on. But this is the type of place I could sit forever and just take in how beautiful this planet is. Well, I'm tired. One of the main things I wanted to do on this trip was check out this trail. We did the hike. We've got maybe an hour left of sunlight. We probably have 30 minutes back to the Jeep, so we're gonna try to hoof it back to the Jeep and get on the trail and start heading towards some pavement. We still have, I don't know, at least 40 or 50 dirt miles, most of which we'll be just doing in the dark, I think. So, time to roll. We've made it back to the Jeep and have a pretty decent jaunt in front of us back to home. So I'm gonna try to cover a little bit of miles here. That trail was amazing. I wasn't sure exactly, I should say the end destination was amazing. The trail was okay, but the end destination was amazing. Those arches were so beautiful. Really, really worth coming down and doing this hike. Absolutely loved it. There's a couple places right nearby that you can camp. Definitely something you can make a weekend out of. We're about halfway in between Green River and Hanksville. I've decided, because Green River is closer to home, to just go back the way that we came, since we're about halfway in between, and I've done the trail or the road down to Hanksville from here before. Decided we'll take this way back. Since we got such a late start today, it's already almost dark. We've only probably got another 20 or 30 minutes left of light, but this adventure has been so much fun. Definitely a little bit unexpected with some of the things that happen, but it is always good to be back out on the trail. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can follow all of my day-to-day stuff on Instagram at Backroad Exploration. Thanks so much for watching.